Greetings, friends. Jumping into vlog number 27. I just finished vlog number 26. If you haven't listened to that one, go back and listen to that one because in this case, I'm jumping right in from that one to this one. So they're going together very nicely. I highly recommend listening to both of them. But if you're just tuning in, David J. Coon with Qigong Awareness, author of Qigong for Beginners, Your Path to Greater Health and Vitality. Check out the book, many more teachings like the ones that I'm sharing with you. And the book represents a portion of the core of the teachings that are offered by Qigong Awareness, where we have a 5-level Qigong and medical Qigong instructor training program, where we're certifying Qigong instructors and certifying medical Qigong practitioners. And people are training in 5 levels, just like Jiu-Jitsu. Shout out to my Gracie friends in Torrance, and elsewhere. 5-level program: level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5. In Jiu-Jitsu, they also have, in most Jiu-Jitsu systems, a 5-belt rank level. A white belt, a blue belt, a purple belt, a brown belt, and a black belt. Anyway, there is a reason for that, and I discussed that in the last video and other videos, because it is very important to master a curriculum. It's very important to master yourself and to continue to set goals and intentions, change your habits, do it progressively over time, and you have to start with some kind of foundation. No house, no building, no business is going to be successful without a strong foundation. So I told you in the last vlog episode that I would discuss a little bit of something about how I changed my spinal disease, my living situation, etc., etc. And I want to explain that from a particular angle today. So this is the particular angle. I said in the last vlog that it is a mistake to see yourself as a body. It is a mistake to believe that you are imprisoned by the body. It is a mistake to believe that you're imprisoned by some kind of condition, some kind of situation, etc., etc. It is a mistake in evaluation of who and what you are. So I was talking to my mom yesterday, actually, and I was flashing back to the time in which I was leaving high school and, graduated high school and was heading off to start to study at the college level. And I remember going in and thinking, I have no idea what I'm going to major in or what I'm going to do or anything. And this was at the University of Connecticut at the time. And I showed up there and was filling out paperwork, and they said, you need to choose your major. And I thought to myself, I have no idea where I'm going, what I'm doing, what my major should be, whatever. And then I read the description of what it was to study psychology and what that represented as a major and so on, and right away I signed on. Heck yeah, I need that. Okay, I was like, I definitely need that, right? The study of the mind, how the mind works, relationships, behavior patterns, habits, studying all these kinds of things. I said, hell yeah, I need that. So that was an excellent move on my part. I have been building upon that for many years since then. That training in psychology gave me a foundation that I expanded upon by studying Eastern psychology and metaphysics and all of these kinds of things. But let's go back to that original sort of time period where I had started to study this, and in general I was looking at it as, hey, this is a study of the mind, right? So yeah, it's a study of behavior and emotions and relationships, but this is the study of the mind. That was the part that really was like, boom, I grabbed onto, okay? And at the time, I was in tremendous pain. I was suffering. I had all kinds of emotions I had no idea what to do with. I assumed all of that was me, like this is me, right? and I didn't know any better. I didn't have the verbiage that I do now that I shared with you in the last vlog where I said, hey, this is not who you are. This is a representation of your biology. This is in your DNA. This is in your past emotional structure. This is not only your ego, but it's part collective ego and all of those kinds of things. And that it's going to take some awareness to rise above this, that kind of conversation. I had no idea about any of that back then. It was just like, this is me. I have a spinal disease. This is my emotional state. These are my fears, my anxieties, my insecurities, etc., etc. These are my beliefs. I just really didn't know what was going on exactly, right? So one of the things that I did, which was huge uh, in terms of creating a very powerful shortcut for me, and I use this when I coach people and teach people and so on, and that is this, and I said at the end of the last vlog. Uh, at 25 years old, okay, I had been training different disciplines, a lot of different, martial arts, Qigong, meditation, so on. Going to chiropractic, going to acupuncture, going to massage, things like this. And I had been doing these kinds of things for 10 years, even doing some shamanic work, working with a shaman for a few years, more than several actually, but working with some Qigong masters anyway, and of course, martial art masters. And here I am 10 years in, and I have not changed this spinal disease. And a huge mistake that I was making during that time period was, number one, I thought all of this stuff was me. Again, I thought the emotions were me. I thought the fears were me. I thought the insecurities were me. I thought, hey, this is who I am. I was identified with it. So when you hear a meditation teacher talk and say, hey, you're identified with these things, that's what they're talking about. I was identified with it, and I was identified with it in the sense that says, hey, this is who I am. No, it's not who I am. It's a bag of crap that I'm carrying around, and I need to get rid of the bag of crap. If you get rid of the bag of crap, you'll realize this is not who I am. It was just a bag of crap that I was carrying around. Okay? It's a really easy way to say it. All right? So you have to begin to separate yourself from that bag of crap. Well, in order to separate yourself from that bag of crap, you got to get control of the control tower. Okay, that's what I talked about in the last episode. Have to get control over the control tower, and then you have to start doing something about it. You have to actually actualize the situation. You have to actualize these breathing patterns and changes, and actualize some new habits, right? So one of the new habits that I highly recommend, and it hit me when I was about 25 years old, is I was like, okay, I've done all of this. And to me, it was like, I wake up one day and I'm like, I am failing big time. I threw out my neck, which was very common over those years of walking around in a neck brace because my spine was so dysfunctional in my neck. C3, 4, and 5 in particular were like fused. There's all kinds of arthritis around it and everything else. And I went on a roller coaster ride in California. It was the first time I visited Los Angeles, and we went to Disneyland. And I threw my neck out on whatever that mountain is, some Magic Mountain, I think it is. Anyway, I threw my neck out, just went out. It was no surprise, right? So I went to see a couple of doctors there, chiropractors, doctors. One of them, I believe, was a doctor of Oriental medicine as well. They took x-rays. They immediately gave me the riot act, so to speak. They said, have you seen your spine? Like, dude, like, it's crazy. Your spine looks like you're 85 years old. I'd heard this many times, okay, at that point in time. I was very sick and tired of hearing that story, but I was hearing it yet again, okay, 10 years later. Your spine is getting worse, which basically means, hey, dude, you're a failure. You failed for the last 10 years. Everything you've ever did, everything you've tried, all of the martial arts you've done, all of the Qigong you've done, all of the meditation you've done, you failed. So those of you that are like, I've tried for the last 10 years, and I've tried, and I've failed, and I just can't do it, okay, get over yourself. And when I say get over yourself, I mean get over your past, keep getting over your ego, keep moving, keep trying, keep doing it, because you need to outpace this ego. Where you're headed as a mind, and this is what I decided way back when, is where I was headed as a mind, and my body was not going to be able to follow me, which means my body's going to shift, my body's going to change, because my mind, I'm going to harness it, I'm going to ride it like a horse, and I'm going to ride it out of my past, and I'm going to ride it out of this situation and this dynamic and this littleness, etc., 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 these old beliefs, etc. And one of the huge subtle shifts that I keep kind of hinting around here is I made the decision at about 25 years old there. I said, you know what? I kind of like had a surrender moment on one hand, but I also had a realization on another hand. And in that realization, I went, you know what? I just need to come from the standpoint that I'm a mind. And I may never be able to heal my spine. That was kind of how I did it. I said, you know what? I may never be able to heal my spine. So I'm going to stop worrying about it. I'm going to stop getting up every day and going, oh my God, I shouldn't be in this situation. And look how horrible my situation is. And look how bad my back is. And listening to chiropractors and doctors tell me how bad my back is. You know what? I'm not even to go anymore. Stop going to chiropractors. Stop going back to the doctor. Stop going to get the x-rays done. At that time period in my life, it's what I did. And I kept doing all of the other things, and very intense breathing at that time in my life, breath of fire and things which really changed my life. A lot of internal Qigong practices, medical Qigong practices, continuing to do martial art, etc. And also deepening my meditation skills. And one thing I knew somewhere in that range of say 26 or 28, one thing I knew was my mind was happier. I knew that. My mind is becoming happier. Despite the fact that the spinal disease had not changed, my mind is becoming happier. I'm happier helping other people. I'm happier serving other people. I'm happier getting up in the day. I'm less angry. I am more helpful to other people. I'm less, like I said, caught up. And so again, around that time in my life, you all know, at least a bunch of you know at this point in time, I had a major heart chakra opening, flooded my body with energy, had a huge release, and so on and so forth. And that experience, I believe, came in part because of all the practices that I was doing, but also because of the shift of mind, the realization and the recognition that I am not a body. I'm not imprisoned by this body. This body cannot contain me, and I'm just not going to give it the attention in the way that says something's wrong with my body. I need to fix my body. My body's got a problem. If you're doing that, which everybody that I've ever met that's not well, that's what they're doing. You need to stop that SHIT right away. You need to stop it. You're a mind. If you are too many pounds overweight, you need to get a handle on your mind. You don't need to do anything about your body. You're going to do something about your body, okay? Secondarily, but primarily, you need to do something about your mind. The mind is the problem. It is not the body. The mind is the problem. The body is a mirror, and it's mirroring back to you that there are things that you are doing still to this day as a habit on the level of the mind that are not good for you. The universe is trying to teach you something. It's a very loving universe, actually, as you begin to unfold it and see what's really going on. The universe is lovingly trying to tell you, hey, if you judge and you hate and you condemn, or whatever degree of that's going on, you judge, so on, you're not going to feel well. This is why Jesus said, judge not, lest ye be judged, right? As you give, so shall you receive. That's the same teaching. Buddha called it karma. That's the same teaching. So the universe is lovingly trying to teach you that by your own hand, you are made sick, and by your own hand, you can also become healed. Okay, very simple. It's very simple. What's complicated is the neuroses and the suffering and the ego and so on. I know that's all very complicated, but I'm telling you, if I can transcend it and so on and can heal myself, so can you. So one of the shortcuts that I'm giving you in this vlog, if you're catching on to it, stop seeing yourself and speaking about yourself as if you are a body. Many times in workshops over the last X number of years of doing them, I will often ask someone to help me in a demonstration. I'll say, will you help me in this demonstration? They say, yes. I say, okay. And let's say the person's name is Rob. I say, Rob, would you do me a favor and come on over here and stand next to me so that we can give this demonstration. So Rob gets up, walks over, stands next to me. I ask Rob the question, Rob, how did you get here? And essentially, once we get around to it, Rob says, I stood up and I moved my body over here. And I asked Rob, who chose to do that? He says, well, you asked me. I said, yeah, but who chose to do it? He said, I did. So what we call that right there is called your will. It takes Rob's will to actually get his body up, walk it across the room, and stand right here. And training your will, sometimes like in Taoist practice or Zen Buddhist practices, we talk about, as I said in the last vlog, we call it like training the chi. But training the chi is also about training your will, because it takes your will, your effort, your willingness to actually make a difference and make a change. And if you want to know what your purpose is, and if you want to know what your destiny is, here's how I'd put it to you in a nutshell in light of this particular conversation. Number one, we could say it is to awaken, it is to realize. But when we say to awaken and we say to realize, awaken to what would be the question, realize what would be the question, and it would be to realize yourself, to awaken to yourself, and to realize yourself. There's an old saying, you've heard me say it before, some of you, that says, uh, um, be still and know. There's also the teaching that says, know thyself first. You need to know yourself and you need to train your will. Let me ask you a question. If you're paying attention, you're listening, you're feeling the vibe of this, what is the opposite of your will? Any idea? It would be self-doubt. When you doubt yourself and you don't have any confidence, that's called a lack of will. When you exercise your will and you consistently exercise your will. Okay, I have black belts in a karate, a black belt in Kempo karate, a black belt in Taekwondo. I've studied Aikido for like 18 years, Jeet Kune Do and Filipino martial arts, although I never got certified in that particular discipline. Did it for many years under a student of Bruce Lee's training partner who was had all five levels of training with Guru Dan Inosanto, Bruce Lee's training partner. And point is, a lot of training, a lot of curriculums, a lot of discipline, a lot of effort, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That's called the training of will. Now, I'm not here to talk about how great I am or the fact that I've gone 3,000 steps. I'm here to say that back when I was 25, I could only go 5 steps, okay? And I had to build a foundation, and I had to go 5 steps before I could go 10 steps, before I could go, 20 steps. And that's the old saying, right? The journey of a million steps begins with the first one. It's a truth. You have to start where you are. And comparison, as many will say, it's the root of all evil. It's not about comparing yourself to myself or comparing yourself to somebody else. It's about looking, where am I at right now and what can I do to change myself? So you sit there and you say, what's my destiny? What's my purpose? Well, it's not just to be a doctor or be a lawyer or be a garbage collector or whatever the thing is that you're going to do, or a healer or a Qigong teacher. It's not about any of those things specifically, although it may be for you. The bigger picture is you have to find the thing that you, check it out, you are willing to commit to and continue to work on to unfold your will so that you can begin to see how much stronger you are than you ever thought you were. How does anybody do that? Well, you have to take one step at a time, or one page at a time. And only in taking 5 pages in and successfully completing 5 pages can you go on to 25 pages. When I look back at those black belts that I got, which all of them were very challenging to get, especially probably the last one, but all of them were super difficult, and it's all relative because when I got the last one, I was in a much stronger place than I was when I got the first 2. But Every single one of them, a lot of hardship, a lot of training, a lot of tremendous amount of discipline and willpower required to do all of those things. And yet I have the persistence and the consistency and the therefore honesty to continue to pull that off. Anyway, point is, I developed my will and I did things that I didn't even think were possible. And the average person may never do that even in one lifetime. You know, the most you may train in this one lifetime, maybe you don't even get level one in our program. Maybe you just kind of train on the side and you're using the Qigong to help you in your life. That's fantastic, right? It's not about like you again versus like me or what I did. But if I did all of this, then there's no reason that you can't do some of it. There's no reason you can't take the same things and apply it to your life. I have master teachers that, you know, some of them I don't know that I'm going to catch up to anytime soon, right? They're like way ahead of me on the level that they are, right? But I personally will strive to catch up to them, but it doesn't mean that I will or I won't, okay? But what it means is that there is a work involved. You have to take control over the control tower. You have to exercise your will, which is related to your power center, related to your third chakra. And you have to exercise this over what? You have to exercise it over your body, and you have to exercise it over your emotions, and you have to exercise it over your moods and your fears and your insecurities, etc., which also means exercising your mind and your control tower over what? The lower chakras. You see where we're going with this? Okay? Exercising higher mind, willpower, higher mind, heart, higher mind, third eye, higher mind, connection to source, connection to God, connection to a very deeply profound spiritual. And if you're not interested in healing the physical body, and you're not interested in making the physical body strong, and you're not interested in going to work, and you are practicing more of being at the temple and so on, then you're probably not watching this video, and you probably haven't listened this far. And there are practices of meditation where the focus is on the sixth and it's on the seventh chakras, and there's none of this physical laboring. There's no training of martial art. There's no practices like this. There's just seated meditation, and there is the high of experiencing your seventh chakra, which I highly recommend from time to time. But in my life, I'm not just here to sit on a cushion and to experience my seventh chakra, because the day I drop this body, I'm going to experience that seventh chakra just fine. I'm here to bring the Holy Spirit, if you desire to call it that, or the higher levels of consciousness down into the physical, and to turn this plane to the best of my ability. In other words, share the ideas and the concepts of heaven with matter. I want to finish with this last idea, and this will be helpful to those of you who are listening. I said this recently in a discussion with my mom as well. My mom was someone who helped influence me onto that path of martial art, which is pretty cool. And I've helped my mom in return in other ways. This is one of the conversations that I shared with my mom. And I said it to her like this: there are no mountains in heaven. I want you to think about this for a minute. There's no mountains in heaven. What does that mean? What the heck does that mean? The mountains are here on earth, ladies, gentlemen, fellow Qigong Masters. The mountains are not in heaven, the mountains are here. So when you leave your body, whatever sort of thing you're dealing with in your body, however old you are, etc., and you drop your body, you die your body, and you leave this place, you're going to fly. It's going to be the best ride you've ever had. Of course, you'll remember that you've had the ride before, but in this lifetime, you'll be like, wow, that's like way better than the ride on Magic Mountain. And I didn't even throw out my neck because I don't have a neck to throw out, because I just flew out of my body like a spirit, and this is fantastic, and I've lightened my load. And if you listen to a lot of psychics and people who study in between lifetimes and stuff like that, then you will hear them say that many souls' deepest regrets are the fact that as soon as they leave that body, they're like, I wish I had done. Okay. The good news is that if you believe in things like Buddhism and so on, you're going to reincarnate. It's no big deal. You'll get a chance to do it again. But you'll have this moment of, wow, I could have done more with that lifetime. Okay. And I've had enough of those experiences, so I'm not going to miss any beats. And the physical dimension is used for this purpose, to go up and down mountains, whether they are literal mountains or they are metaphorical mountains. That is your goal, that is your job, that is your mission. Go up and down mountains, climb your obstacles. Whatever obstacle you have going on in your life right now that you say this obstacle shouldn't be here, think again. It's there for a reason. It's there for you to evolve. It's there to show you that you have greater power within yourself, and it is up to you to exercise your will over that condition and to change that outward condition by changing inwardly. If you've stuck it out this far, good for you. Double thumbs up. You guys have a fantastic day. Keep having at it. Master yourself.